putting together this list. So give a big shout out to them. It's a fun site.
Thank you.
So, of course, the early Fan 4, I mean, he's really known mainly as a Fantastic Four villain initially. So these early Fan 4 covers are, I don't know, to me, some of the most fun covers. He's a Stan Lee and Jack Kirby creation. You basically get his initial origin story in Fan 4 Annual 2. And you find out that he's a gypsy boy who his mother has passed, and his father is kind of a magical medical doctor. And the Baron of the land wants him to help save his wife. And that doesn't work out so good. So Doom's father knows that he's not going to be able to save the wife. So they escape beforehand, before the Baron decides to come try to hunt them down. His father freezes to death, holding him in his arms. And after that, Doom basically vows revenge on the Baron, comes back, finds his mother's old things, realizes that she was basically a witch, and begins to self-teach himself magic and blending magic and technology. So his origin story is very, very interesting. And over the years, they always dip back into that as well. He's a very tortured soul. It is hard, which kind of sometimes makes you root for him as well. Yeah, like I said, all these Fan 4 covers I think are fantastic. I love anytime there's an old Doom cover. I always try to pick it up in a Silver Age book, because some of them, especially like this Fan 457, is just a great cover. You know, as far as villains go, I always find his covers tend to be some of the best in the Silver Age. When you see Doom on a cover, you're happy. I can't think of any other villain. Magneto always looks weird and cheesy in Silver Age. Juggernaut looks cool occasionally in Silver Age, but Doom to me always just kind of looks badass.
Who is the Joker equivalent villain in the Marvel universe? Would it be Doom or Magneto? Who would you think is the guy like Joker is in DC?
I would say Doom is close in terms of largeness and scale and kind of craziness. But Doom's also extremely brilliant, calculating as well. I don't know. I don't know if there is necessarily the Joker one is always weird because he's so nuts and just completely psychopathic. It's hard.
Let's say just popularity. Let's just look at popularity.
Popularity wise, yeah, I would say.
I don't think there is an equivalent in Marvel myself.
No.
Joker is like by far like
of course you would
bounds. Batman level popularity, and there's no equivalent villain that's that popular.
No, I mean, well, you also
AOA agrees with you.
Well, the thing about DC villains like that too is you have all of Golden Age as well. They've been around a lot longer. You know, they're characters that have been around significantly longer than these other characters. So I don't know. I love Doom. I think he's one of the baddest son of bitches in Marvel. He has one of the most, like I said, unique storylines, interesting storylines, and you know, why they wanted to go with Kang is beyond me, because Doom is far more interesting and far better. Which you can tell if you compare the prices in Kang books and Doom books. Again, you had a lot of great Kirby covers, a lot of original Stan Lee stories, a lot of great early Fan 4 stuff. There's the Annual 2 where you actually get his origin. It goes back in there. You got some great old covers. It's Avengers 25 there. You got ASM 5. You got Doom. So Doom pops up all over the place as a major villain, which is nice through the Marvel universe, because a lot of the Marvel villains a lot of times tend to be a bit more self-contained. You know, um, most of Spider-Man, a lot of Spider-Man's villains tend to stay with Spider-Man, but Doom's all over the place. He definitely gets around. This Daredevil 38 is one of my favorite Doom covers. Also get the Marvel Superhero Presents Doctor Doom. It's a good one if you ever find it. Has the introduction of Valeria, which is his childhood love. So that's definitely a good one to pick up. It's also very recognizable. So it's always a very liquid book that always moves. You have him in some old Silver Age Submariner books. And then in some Astonishing Tale kind of team up books with Kazar and Doom. These are also very good. Get a lot of Kazar, Black Panther, and Doom together. There's a lot of Wakanda-esque storylines that involve Doom as well, which is, again, another reason they should have brought him into the MCU.
Weed Richards. Hold on, Weed.
Yeah, he's made some appearances in Thor and Hulk. He's even made an appearance in Luke Cage Hero for Hire, which is kind of fun. Like I said, he appears as a villain in a lot of books. He was used a lot in a lot of storylines. This supervillain team up, by the way, number 12, awesome book, because where else are you going to find Doctor Doom fighting Nazis on the moon? Supervillain team up 12. That's where you're going to find it. Where he takes on the Red Skull. So definitely some of these team ups, the giant size and the regular supervillain team ups, are fun books with a lot of great Doom, Namor, or Namor, if you prefer that nomenclature. But there are a lot of really good books with some fun little storylines and some amazing Doom covers. You got him teaming up with Magneto. You got Red Skull. He's always with Submariner. Submariner's a prick too, so it's always good to see those two in storylines together. As you move more into the 80s, you had the Secret War storyline. So you had Doom kind of up in front there with Beyonder. The John Byrne run that started in the late 80s was one of the best Fantastic Four runs, with some of the coolest covers and best stories of Fantastic Four all around. You had this King Size Spider-Man annual. This is actually a Frank Miller cover. So if you're a fan of Frank Miller and you want a Doom cover, there you go. You can look for King Size Annual 14 Spider-Man. A lot of the crossovers were there. It's in X-Men 145. It's also in another later Uncanny X-Men book as well, but the cover's awful. But this is a pretty good classic Uncanny X-Men cover with Doom. The Beauty and the Beast, the Sienkiewicz covers are fantastic. I love these little X-Men kind of 4 to 5 issue little minis that they ran in the 80s. But the Beauty and the Beast one was fantastic, and you got some really cool Doom in there as well. Yeah, he even showed up in some Shang-Chi. Showed up in some Dazzler. I mean, come on. If this isn't this isn't hot, I don't know what is. And she's scared. Okay. Yikes! There's Doom.
Everyone loves Taylor.
Yeah. Apparently, they really like her. Great Invincible Iron Man cover, one of those just kind of classic head-to-head covers. You even got him on a Cloak and Dagger cover, and the art's for shit on that one because it's a Cloak and Dagger book. Shows up in some Punisher, which is fun. There's a great trade paperback, Emperor Doom.
Acts Avengers was such a good storyline. I love that crossover.
And there were some really fun covers in there too. But yeah, the Emperor Doom graphic novel, even though it's an Avengers graphic novel, it's really a Doom story. Again, through that burn run, this isn't a burn cover, but there's some just amazing, fantastic Doom covers. Great Eric Larson Doom cover. If you remember our,
Really was.
yes, he has. Yes, he's quite the man. Some, of course, Namor. He's had a few of his own titled series as well. There was the Doom Mini. Then there was the Doom Emperor Returns, which was a continuation of that storyline as well. As we were talking about before, there's Doom 2099, which actually made it to, I think this is the last issue. It made it to 40 issues. Really? So yes, Bruce. So somebody was reading it because it made it to 40 issues.
You, sir.
But it is what it is for that day and age. Then there was the 2099 World of Tomorrow, which came after because Doom 2099 was so popular. They had to give you some more. Shows up in some Thunderbolts. Then you start to get some really cool covers in the 2000s. That Dark Reign, the Cabal cover is just a pretty badass cover in general with some of the baddies. Like I said, you have a lot of storylines with him in Wakanda. Because he is a genius, and not just for the magic stuff, but also melding that with technology and stuff like that. You get a lot of Black Panther crossovers with Wakanda. Again, fantastic Brother Voodoo cover, by the way. Once he became Dr. Voodoo, which is fun. It was a good little Rick Remender series as well. Got him in some Dark Avengers. Even shows up in some X Factor.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, that's Peter David was right in that run, so it wasn't too bad. Yeah. Of course, everyone loves the Secret Wars, Hickman's Secret Wars, where you got God Emperor Doom. If you love Doom, this is a great series to read. Fantastic art, great story, some amazing covers. You had him become Iron Man as well, so you had in Infamous Iron Man. You had some interesting Doom storylines there, which is some good Bendis and Malieve action. When those two pair up together, it's always enjoyable. Then he had his own more recent series. Got a handful of good covers out of that. I believe there is an Art Adams cover on there somewhere as well of a Doom. You had the recent Darkhold, some little minis that popped up here and there. Shows up in Blade. As we know, he has some vampire killing abilities. You had this weird Fantastic Four cover where he was on this crazy mechanical Doom dinosaur, which is pretty badass because who the fuck doesn't want to ride? The fuck doesn't want to ride a dinosaur? It's made out of metal. Yeah, exactly. We've been talking about the Hood a lot lately. He shows up in Dark Gray in the Hood. And then, of course, in live action, we had him as Julian McMahon there. We had him in the most recent movie to the right there. And on the far left is the wonderful Roger Corman version from the late 60s. We love Roger Corman. He's been in a ton of animated series, all of which are amazingly hilarious, especially the old ones. The 60s cartoons and even into the early 70s ones, Doom is hilarious to watch.
What's with that man spreading? He's like,
Doom can do whatever the hell Doom wants to do. Like I said, he's been in numerous of the animated series since the 60s all the way up until now. So you will frequently see Doom either doing cameos or, as a regular reoccurring villain in a lot of these series. And as always, you got your toys. There's plenty of toys out there for Doom. I love the Lego. The Lego Doom is actually pretty badass. I had been throwing up Funkos recently for the characters, but that's a badass Lego character. The fact that they actually have the chromed face and arms is pretty badass.
Probably the most expensive one out of all of them. Is that Lego character?
Yeah, it's probably $4 instead of $3.
Some of those Lego characters, I mean,
know.
it depends on how they're released. Some of those Lego characters are worth a grip, man.
I can never tell what's real and what's not, because if you go to a con, there's always somebody there that has the tables of all the knockoff ones that are like, these look real. How are these fake? Yeah. How do you know?
A Lego Doom movie would probably be pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, it would. But yeah, I mean, you have some pretty good characters. A lot of the Marvel Legends stuff and stuff like that. They're decent action figures. I enjoy. I enjoy. I don't own action figures, but I do like looking at them when I'm walking through the stores and stuff like that, and say, "Well, shit, if I had room, I would possibly buy this or that." They have some pretty cool ones. And the statues, the Doom statues, are pretty badass because he's just like, I mean, he's just chilling there with the chalice. He is, he is the pimp of the Marvel universe.
Anybody standing on a pile of dinosaur skulls is gonna look badass.
Exactly. Yeah, like I said, anybody with a chalice got my vote. Big fan.
I used to have a child.